The Catholic Morning Show on Iowa Catholic Radio.
Thanks for joining us here this morning. Deacon Mark Campbell, along with Alexia Baker, Brady Grimm. And I'm excited for this next conversation. And, one of the things that I experienced, after ordination to the permanent diaconate for the Diocese of Des Moines is we are assigned away from our home parish, which I'll admit was very Anglo, very white. And so I didn't have much of a cultural experience of the church outside of, say, a chrism mass or something of that nature. When I arrived at the Basilica, a very broad spectrum of folks that come there to worship. We have, first generation African immigrants that are there worshiping. We've got Vietnamese that have been a part of the parish there for a very long time, and we have a lot of Hispanic families who are part of the Basilica family there. And so I got to really see the worldwide church sort of in action, so to speak, and it was so beautiful and wonderful. And then I got to, again, as I was introduced, gain some appreciation. One of those things that I became exposed to that I had no familiarity with, and I'm still very ignorant on, I'll admit, is a quinceañera. So there's a special event coming up here in the Des Moines metro area, here in the Des Moines Diocese. And I wanted to invite the director of Youth Evangelization for the Diocese of Des Moines, Jessica Pancho, on to help enlighten me, because I thought if I have questions, I'm sure there are others that have questions as well. And so welcome in, Jessica. Great to see you.
Thank you so much, Deacon. Yes, no, I'm really honored to have invited to talk about this, just because I think we know about the cultural aspect of a quinceañera. It's a tradition, within the Hispanic community, a rite of passage. And we talk about, the symbols of the crown, the dress, the party, but really the true, authentic identity of a quinceañera should be more about a princess of God, a daughter of God. That is your first identity, right? As a child of God, a daughter of God. So we really try to instill within the Mass, within the preparation of quinceañeras and these young girls who are about to turn 15, what it is to be a daughter of God.
Yes.
It's not just about, looking pretty, about what the society and culture tells you, of now I get to wear makeup, now I get to date, that's the cultural aspect of it. But within the identity of a daughter of God, we talk about, modesty. Who is our example in our faith? In this case, Our Lady, Our Lady of Guadalupe for a lot of our quinceañera girls. What is it to be chaste, purity, within an age group that really the counterculture just talks about your sexuality in a way that is not what it should be about in our faith. So yeah, we just try to, see different ways in which we can evangelize these girls and really form the girls with a knowledge that their culture and their faith are not separate. They really should go together.
Well, let's back up just a little bit. So quinceañera is the idea is when a young girl turns 15,
yes,
there's this rite of passage, as you said.
Yes.
Why, or maybe you don't know, but why 15? What's the significance of the age of 15?
Yeah, it's really more of just the maturity of a girl when she turns 15. In other cultures, by then, girls are either already dating for sure and have already had an experience of, traveling somewhere else, and 15 just turned out to be kind of that middle point. And
the age of reason.
The age of reason, yes, for a teenager to kind of just take that next step. Yeah. It kind of like you're introduced, if you really think about it, within here, you're going from that transition of middle school to high school, right? You're still transitioning in what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So you already feel that there is a bigger next step into, adulthood or, teenage years. Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned the party, and that's the thing I'll admit I took away. It was like a wedding. I mean,
it can be even more than a wedding.
The celebrations were just like over the top. So I knew something special was happening.
Yes.
But I wasn't really able to sort of glean from it what the aspect or what was necessarily being celebrated. Yeah. And so talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about the faith component.
Yeah.
Right? Let's let's start there. And what sort of things, because you're offering a retreat coming up here in June 26th and 27th at the St. Thomas More Center in Panora, a beautiful facility that can house many people. So if you know somebody that might be interested, make sure they go to the Des Moines Diocese website and register there. We'll get to all that information a little bit. But what sort of things are you offering to sort of make sure that the focus isn't on, like it is with a wedding sometimes, the reception afterwards and all those other details. It's really focused on this this holy moment, so to speak, even though it's not necessarily sacramental. A sacrament. It's kind of sacramental.
Yes, it is. It is sacramental, definitely. So, I mean, for most of these girls, even culturally, it would be their first time spending a night away from their parents, from their home. So we focus a lot about who is that trust going to be put on? First and foremost, that trust should be on God. So we do a lot of activities that require for them to get out of their comfort zone and realize that their place and home that they should always come back to is our faith, our Catholic faith in Jesus. Besides that, we really do talk to them about the way that they present themselves to others. As young girls, it's not just, again, about, the clothes, the makeup, the peer pressure of how you should be seen, but rather how God sees you. So we have talks about modesty. There are beautiful ways in which you can dress, present yourself that don't necessarily require you to expose yourself, which is what our counterculture right now is about. It's more about, the more you show, the more you're going to get. Go. Yeah, the further you'll go. Yeah.
So talk about some of the symbolism. You referenced it already. There's a crown. There's some aspects of the ceremony itself. Is that the right term? What are some of those? What are some of those things? Those symbols that are given to them through the celebration itself.
So through the celebration itself, specifically, there is a highlight of the crown, a doll, high heels, and then a medal of some sort. Specifically, the crown is to signify, that you are a princess, and we say, you're a princess of God, a daughter of God. You are part of the kingdom, so that crown is because of God. Then the doll is to signify that you receive your last doll at your quinceañera, so that you can always remember your inner child. I mean, and for us, what we say is Saint Teresa of Lisieux talked about that, childlike faith. That's what we say. You should always recognize that that's the type of faith that you should have. The medal usually is a medal of the miraculous medal of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and just to signify that that is protection. Who should we go to for comfort and for guidance and leading us to Jesus? And the heels is just another symbol of you're not just running around now just like a little girl, but you also have some responsibility that kind of elevates you to a higher calling. So,
I love that.
Yeah,
that's great imagery there of again a sort of a lifting up to something greater.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And in this sense, kind of adulthood and maturity and all of that. So let's talk about the event itself. We kind of mentioned the retreat. Any other highlights as far as the retreat goes that we should direct listeners to?
No, just know that you can contact me to register directly with it. It's definitely outdoor and indoor experience at St. Thomas More Center. It's home of Catholic Youth Camp, but the retreat center aspects of it are there as well. But then we have our Mass with Bishop. He's celebrating a communal Mass for quinceañeras on July 11th at Sacred Heart. We try to host it from different parishes throughout the years. In the past ones that we've done at the Cathedral, St. Anthony's. This year it'll be at Sacred Heart. So, the quinceañeras will just have their special blessing from Bishop and have a Mass celebrated by our Bishop to just commemorate that rite of passage.
Now, this is all very beautiful. And one of the things, again, I think we can appreciate about how at different aspects of the worldwide church can enhance the life of the church, the body of Christ, if you will. This is something that, is probably primarily for Hispanic young ladies.
Sure,
right? Sure. But from a public standpoint, if somebody wanted to participate, volunteer, be a part of it, is that aspect kind of open to anyone and everyone to come and experience?
Mass is always, public for sure. I think one way in which people can actually also get involved is, there are people that want to form these quinceañeras even leading up to their actual celebration at our parishes. So there is a group of ladies and teams that will want to go dive deeper into what a quinceañera is when we look at it through a lens of our faith within the parishes. So if somebody wants to also kind of know more of how to volunteer to be part of that formation process, by all means, let me know and we can connect you to the right people.
How do people get a hold of you, Jessica?
Go ahead and, call the Diocese of Des Moines, but also my email, jpancho@dmdiocese.org.
And then maybe finally, did you have a quinceañera?
It's very family based, but I had a blessing that my 15th birthday, I had a photo shoot and my mom gave me 15 presents leading up to my 15th birthday. So it was definitely special for sure. So I did not go with the big party because I preferred a trip. Yeah. Save that money for a trip. But, everyone has their own traditions as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this is just awesome. Thanks for coming on and sharing about it. I feel smarter now to be able to talk about something that, again, I had little or no, I had no exposure to up until about 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I do think it is just a beautiful aspect of how we can accompany, again, a demographic of the church who is just under, like you said, under enormous pressure and a lot of confusion. And the church is right there to accompany them, guide them, steer them, and help them, direct them towards our Blessed Mother, who ultimately directs us to our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Jessica Pancho, Diocese of Des Moines. And again, July 11th will be that Quinceañera Mass at Sacred Heart. The retreat coming up out at St. Thomas More Center on June 26th and 27th. Learn more at dmdiocese.org.
Listen to the Catholic Morning Show weekdays at 7 a.m. Central on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network, iowacatholicradio.com, or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.